What's going on, everybody? So today we're going to talk about Lightroom. Now, we talked a little bit about Pixelmator Pro and Photoshop and the amazing things that you can do with them, and that's just the beginning. So we're actually going to talk about Lightroom. I'm sure you probably see at the lower right, there's going to be like an area where it shows the iPad, or I might be able to kind of like transition between the iPad and the what is it, the app on the desktop here. But for now, what we're going to do is we're going to focus on the desktop. So these are photos I recently took. I have edited a few of them, but we're going to talk about setting up preferences, because Lightroom is kind of like a digital darkroom organizer. And me, I like to store all of my stuff on an external hard drive. So when you come here, I'm on a Mac, but you can do this on a Windows. Windows is a little different on the layout, and I don't have a program to capture Windows as far as like my desktop. So that's why I'm doing everything from my Mac. But if you come here, oh wait, let's go ahead and go to cancel. Adobe Lightroom. We're going to select preferences, and we're going to look in here. Now there's a lot of things that you can do in here. You can store a copy to your local. Me personally, I don't like that. I like to have all of my stuff in one area on a drive that I know is there. So I'll always go to right here, browse, and I already have it set up. So I go to my storage, there's my backup folder, and then there's my Lightroom. So I don't have to worry about that, but you can do it and set it up that way if you have an external drive or if you have extra storage on board. And when I say extra storage, there are some people who have a powerhouse computer who specify a specific drive they want everything to go to. In the future, should my PC build ever come to light, to fruition, that will more than likely happen. But for now, it is staying on an external hard drive as backup purposes. So we can go to General. Me personally, if I'm doing something, I don't like my computer to fall asleep, so I love this option. I'm going to add my copyright to my imported images because these are the photos that I've taken. And as far as the interface, you can change it. Me personally, I like the large text because I like to see, I like to read, and I don't like squinting my eyes. And obviously, if you see me during the streams, you see me wearing glasses. You won't see me in videos on YouTube. Maybe in the future I might make an appearance once or twice, but for now, you know, we're just going to show you the desktop. So I use a trackpad, so this is perfect. And then performance. You can set it up to either a custom or default or auto. I suppose for right now, we're just going to keep it custom. I can't use the external GPU because I don't have an I have NVIDIA instead of AMD EMID for my external GPU, which works well when I'm gaming on boot camp, but it does not work well. Like, there's no way for NVIDIA to connect to my Mac. If that were a thing, this would be a lot snappier. Anyway, these were photos I took recently of Gizmo, because he, like, you know, never comes out. And photos don't always come out so good. Like, the settings on my camera were a little too dark. Speaking of settings, let me see. Can I show you the info on here? I don't think I can. I know there's an area where it gives you like information. No. Info. Here we go. So if you ever wanted to know what the settings were on a camera, I was like, I know it's here somewhere. I just have to find it. And I am using CR3. It is less of a file size than just complete RAW. So this is the camera I used. This was the setting that I had. And obviously it's a huge file. And this was the ISO. This right here is the aperture that I was using, 8.0. And this is the lens, the 60 mm. So this was my shutter speed. This tells you everything you need to know about a photo. But as you can see, trial and error, you know, it took me a moment. But if we look, we're going to see a few changes here in just a moment. So I went down to, you know, 30 as opposed to, what was it, 125? And the ISO remained the same. I have ISO on auto right now. And when it's dark, you know, it helps. Here we go. So I changed the settings to 8, you know, 1/8 when it comes to the shutter speed. So then we started getting a little bit of a decent bright photo, but I felt like it was a little too bright. I think I might have darkened it a moment. Oh no, I kept, oh, here we go. Yeah, I did darken it right here on this shot. So I dropped it down to 15, which is actually an improvement. I feel it wasn't overly bright and it was easy to do. So this is Gizmo. For everybody who's been wondering, he's the sugar glider. He likes to hide and come out at night when the lights aren't. So, you know what? Let's use, I mean, it was a clear photo. We're going to just do a couple of touch-ups. Like, you know, some of these photos you don't really, I've already touched up on that one. Some of these photos you don't really have to do much. So this one I have not edited. What I'm going to do is come here now. I feel it's a little dark, so we can actually play with the exposure. There we go. Now, I'm going to actually open up Lightroom on my iPad, and we're going to do the same thing. So it's almost similar. Right here, we're going to come here. We're going to go to Gizmo. And which one am I on? So it's a little different, as you can see. Okay, so he's looking, what's the image number on this one? We got 2721. Okay, what number are you? 2717. Okay. Here we go. So this is a photo we're working on currently. I don't know, but if you have an iPad, for some reason the iPad just looks better as far as like handling photos than my computer monitor, but honestly the computer monitor is more accurate. So let's go ahead and we'll just keep using this photo. And if you want to follow along on an iPad, you can, if you have this. I do pay a monthly subscription. So, you know, for those who are wanting to use Lightroom and all of its features, you can. So you'll notice that right now we're working on a live edit on the desktop, but we haven't touched it on Lightroom. So I'm going to lighten this. I feel like that's appropriate. The contrast. So if I want him to look a little softer, I can. But honestly, I feel like this is fine. I don't really need to play with this too much. So we're just going to leave that. His highlights, if we do it too low, it'll look ugly. If we do it too light, it'll look a little bit like it hurts my eyes. So I'm going to keep that normal because that actually came out fine. Shadows, if we want him to look darker, we could do that. But honestly, I kind of like that it shows the texture of his hair. But there's a lot of noise in this photo, and we're going to talk about noise here in just a moment. The whites, I mean, you could play with it. You can make it brighter. Honestly, I'm going to leave it because I'm actually happy with the outcome after playing with the settings. When you're doing this, if you can do minimal edits, then you're doing a really great photo. And we can play with the black level too. I don't really need to do that. I don't need to make him darker. So we're just going to leave that. So if anything, we're just playing with the exposure. One thing I want to get rid of is the stuff that's in front. And I want to make this look level. So, you know, you can do this in Photoshop too. Personally, Lightroom already houses all my photos. And so why not, right? All right. So we're going to go ahead and select enter. You'll notice the iPad, nothing has changed. It will update though. All right, so we can go to color. If I wanted to make it a little warmer in the atmosphere, we can do that. If I wanted it cooler, like it looks cold outside, we could do that. Generally, I don't always warm my photos, but in this case, I feel like it's appropriate. Now you could change the tint a bit. That way we can still keep his whites white and still keep it warm. And that is a lot of noise on the photo. But keep in mind, he's in a small little space. I had to adjust settings. Like this is like real time handling a camera. And look, we can see his little wormy. Look at that. He's got his mealworm in his hand. and his crazy little nails. All right, so we're gonna keep it that there because, you know, it doesn't look too pink, so it looks good. And you can pretty much do all of this in Lightroom on the iPad or on the desktop. It's very, very much identical. One thing I do want to keep is the sharpening. So I'm going to actually put sharpen at, I don't know, 65. So we still keep our details, right? Noise reduction. Me personally, I found the sweet spot for noise reduction for me is 35. But even, you see how it totally made all of the noise go away. So when we zoom in, there's still a bit of noise, but it's not as bad. I think maybe we should drop it down to, in this situation, where did it go? We'll go back to details. Oh, did I put 32? Oh, well, let's put 25. So the details, we don't want to lose the details that we're messing with when we're actually doing an edit. So why don't we put this at, I mean, you could leave it at 50, but honestly, I'm going to go ahead and bump that up to 70. They're little minute details, and you'll notice them as you're changing it. He looks so soft. I'm sorry. This is my sugar glider. He lives in my office. He's a little rescue dude. And then here is the color noise reduction. 25 is general. For me, I think that's fine. Details, you know, we still don't want to lose a little bit of details, so why don't I bump that up to 60? Now, if we wanted to, we could totally mess with the smoothness when we do it, but honestly, I don't really feel like we need to. No, I don't really care about that. So let's go ahead and keep it at 50. You know what? Sometimes the trackpad goes a little more than necessary. Optics. If you have chromatic aberration, you'll usually notice it on the sides here, as well as lens correction. You see how it corrected that one area here? Honestly, I don't need to worry about that. Not too much anyway. Oh, you know what? I think my eye is messing up on leveling because I just realized something looked off and I was like, oh, that's not right. So you can go back and fix that. See how it's straight lines now? I have an acute astigmatism, okay? So every time I do this without my glasses on, things look slanted, but they look straight to me, and I realized that it was slanted. So I had to fix that. All right. We could play with the color mixer, but honestly, it's not necessary. Sometimes you can do that with certain photos, but it's not necessary. Defringe. So if we started to see light bleed, you know what? Let's use his eye as an example. There's light here, right? There's a reflection. So we could essentially see if it helps take out the blue. But you see, it's not really doing much, so we don't have to worry about it because there's not really any light bleed. If it was severe purple, like right here, maybe, it might be a little bit of a light bleed. But honestly, in such a close proximity, you're not going to see a photo like this bleed with light. So we don't really need to worry about doing anything with the defringe. But this is usually if you need a correct, like a light bleed and make it more gray instead of purple or blue. In this case, this is the light reflection. You know, that's from a window. He's looking outside. So, and honestly, that's the color of the area of the window. So I don't really need to worry about color correction or getting rid of light bleed. But if it was like a streak somewhere and you saw it where it was blue and purple or something, that's light bleed. Actually, one of the flowers I did, I think, had light bleed in there, and that would have come in handy to use as an example. But I kind of wanted to edit a photo of him because he's so darn cute. All right. So I think that's it, right? Yeah, I think that's pretty much all we needed to do. It wasn't too much. Now, you know, touch-ups, they can happen. Let's see. The brush is not too small. So let's say I don't like the spot here, right? I want to get rid of it. You can do that. You can even do it in Photoshop. But yeah, let's do that. And now we're going to export this, right? custom settings, JPEGs, original. If I do the original, I don't think any of these edits come through, but I want to do it with the edits, right? So let's do custom setting. All right. Now, if I go out and I come back to the photo that we were just in, wait, what number are you? Yeah, I think it's this one, right? Yep, this is the photo. Oh, it was supposed to update. Okay, I guess Lightroom is being picky because I'm doing something else, so I have to wait for the live edit or something. All right, so we're going to export. Oh, I can include my watermark, huh? Let's see. I usually do this mobile because I usually post them to Instagram, but that's actually just a copyright watermark. I don't need to worry about that right now. I have my own watermark that I custom like to add, and I'll show you that workflow on the iPad here in just a moment. So let's export this to my desktop. Yeah, I guess it's already there. Export. It's exporting. So it's done, right? Now, come on. All right. We could now go to the iPad. Let's go to the botanical real quick. Come back to it. What number are you? Okay, 18, 19, 20. Oh, I edited that one some time ago. Oh, does it need to sync up? Resume syncing. Oh, please tell me that you update. Okay, maybe I need to close out and relaunch. Let's see if it updates. It's supposed to retain the edit that I did on the Mac. It's supposed to. I'm just waiting for it. I don't think this was it. Was it? Hold on. I'm sorry, y'all. My video is going to be a little crazy. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me check the info on this. It is 21. This is 20. It's supposed to be this one. Oh. Well, I guess we're editing it on the iPad then, huh? All right. It didn't do it in unison the way that I would hope, but that's okay. So we're going to go to Light, and I'm using my Apple Pencil to do this. Let's go right here. Like I said, we don't really need to change much. So with this one, Apple Pencil makes it a little easy to kind of grab. Here we go. And then let's do this. I know I'm pretty close, but you see there's some things right here where it says remove CA, enable lens correction. You're not going to see defringe on here because you'll be doing this defringing optics. Usually the defringing is on PC, but there is another way to do it. You can come to color. This is when you come to color mix, and then you, let's see. So we saw that blue, right? We could do this. We could remove it. And there you go. That's like removing a light bleed. There are things you can do on the PC that you cannot do on the app. And then there are the things that you can do on the app that you can still do on the PC. Keep in mind, these are mobile apps. So it's kind of like you get a little bit of everything, but not everything. All right, so I didn't like that thing right here. So we're gonna leave that as done. And we're gonna go to details, right? So this one, we'll be able to see the sharpening. See, there's a huge difference in it, but that's like 91. We don't want it that bad. Yeah, we'll just leave it there. All right, radius, details, I don't need to change all that. This one, let's see, that's 16. We'll keep it 25, right? Yeah, it seems like he still looks fuzzy. Let's go ahead and keep this at, what, 60? We'll do 70. Like, you can mix it. Honestly, it's not really going to change much detail on the thing here. We want to retain, oh, trying to do 70, but it isn't. It's like, no. There we go. All right. So, there we go. Now we have an adorable photo of Gizmo. And you can actually either open in, save to your camera roll, and in my case, I like to edit in Photoshop. Come on. No. No. Okay, here we go. Edit in Photoshop. There we go. Now I know you're able to see on the desktop right here, this photo. This is what we just edited. And you're going to still see some noise, but it's not as grainy as it was originally. Okay. I just got to wait for it to import. I figured we'd try something different for those who want to like do little details to their photos. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and create a document because I want this saved to my Photoshop. So if we look, we can still see some noise, right? All right, so, oh yeah, I forgot to add the layer. Me personally, I don't like the copyright watermark. I like my own. So we're going to come here. We're going to copy. And you can create your own. Me personally, it took me not too long to do this. All right, so we're going to put that there. And you know what? I don't want it to be too bright. I kind of want it to blend in and not overpower the photo. There we go. And that's how you can put a watermark in there. You can pretty much do the same thing on your Mac or PC. You know what? Yeah, export. But the reason why I do it mobile is because I honestly use it and post it to Instagram. But we're going to save it to my photos. Photoshop mobile app is nothing like the desktop app. You are limited on what you can do. You know what? Let's use this photo of Sam in Photoshop because I'm going to show you really quick. You can do things with the layers, like merge them down, etc. But if you were to want to edit, do effects, smart filters, dimensions, I mean, you can't really do everything that you can do on a PC or a Mac in Photoshop on here. Personally, I only use it to add my watermark on the mobile app. But there are some things you can do here. You know, you see me moving or you see me tapping, whatever. There are some things you can do. Oh, okay. Let's go ahead and hit cancel on that. You can paint. You can erase. You can spot heal, which is great, but that's limited on what you can do. So that's Lightroom. Let's see. Now we're going to go back to here. What I want to do is see a photo with light bleed on the desktop, so it's going to take me a minute, y'all. What better way than to go to the botanicals? Oh, you know what? This might actually be perfect. Here we go. 2019, some photos I took. Let's see, how bad is the light bleed on him? Oh, okay, maybe. So right here, that's overexposure. So let's just say I want him to look a little, you know, green. And then here we go. Let's see. So this is kind of like where you don't want your colors to run onto each other. As you've noticed, the back has already cleared up, but we still see some light bleed. And I'm still seeing a little bit of blue. And I can choose any photo and do this. You know, I'm just showing you all because sometimes you might want to go and just like hop around to another photo. All right, so we got rid of the blue there. So now when we look at him, now he looks green and he doesn't look like he has light bleed all over him. And he's not overexposed. And when I say overexposed, the exposure, the darker and then lighter. We don't want Kermit to look overexposed. And me, I always like going dark with my frogs, so it works. But this is why I use the color mixer. I don't do it to change anything on them. I use it simply for touch-ups, more so than I do Photoshop. And this is for a photo that I feel is already good, but I just need to do a little extra. That's what Lightroom is for. Just little touch-ups. Now, if you're wanting to go through the extreme and you want to crop the frog out here, or you want to do some massive changes and put the frog on the stem in a different background or something, that's when Photoshop or Pixelmator Pro come in handy. But other than that, it's pretty much, you know, these are just showing you little touches and details that you can do. And this is just a little bit of what Lightroom can do. If you have something that you want to maybe change, let's go to the mobile app real quick. Let's just say I like a photo that I want to maybe brighten up one section, but not the whole photo. I'm trying to find one that I want to do an example with. You know what? Yeah, let's go with this one. Okay, so here on the mobile app, one thing that I love more than anything is using the flexibility of a pencil. Is it this one? Effects? Yeah, no. Where is it? No. I have to look for it because I haven't played with it in a while. It's not a healing brush. No, that's a cloning brush. I think it is this one. Yes, it is. Okay, so we're going to go with this. So you see what I'm doing in this coloring the red area? I'm just going to show you all real quick. Like if you want to be very specific, I'm not doing a color splash or anything like that. I just want to change the exposure a bit on this flower. Not anything else in the photo, just the flower. I know my handiwork is not my best right now, but I'm using a pencil and then I'd have to go in and clean it up with an eraser, so that's what I'm going to do. I just kind of wanted to grab all of the flower really quick. And I don't have quick selection on the app here. Alrighty, here we go. Okay, so now let's see. Isn't there an eraser to do the rest? Yes. Alright, so now I'm going to zoom in real quick. And I want my brush size. Here we go. So I'm just getting rid of the spots that I don't need. And this is one thing I really love about using the mobile app. I can actually just go in there and erase the areas that I don't want to change, so it doesn't look tacky and poor quality of work. Because like I said, you want to take the time and do your work right. When you're doing photos, you want your photos to look pretty. You want to be proud of the work that you do. And sometimes the photos that I take, I don't always showcase all of them. I keep them, you know, for a rainy day. And then I come back to them and I'm like, you know what, that photo, I think I might post it. But I edit. I don't always edit, like some photos, barely any touch-ups. And you'll get that as you do your photos. You'll get some experience. under your belt. And then learn these little tricks that help you. All right. I know I could make the brush bigger, but honestly, it's fine. These are little details. No, I just want the side. How do I... that drives me insane. So all of the red that we don't want in here, and I know I'm kind of like dangling this stuff. You're going to see me switching between the app and the desktop here and there. The funny thing is this program records them both at the same time. So it's like, oh, I can switch off and cut and clip. So this video will actually have edits of me just switching apps between the desktop and the mobile app. But right now I'm on the mobile app. This one was actually something I learned, and then I started learning how to do a lot of stuff and tricks on the iPad, just using this Photoshop suite, just anything photo-wise, because I thought I could be mobile, but there's still things that you do need the computer for. And that's why I have a Mac Mini for editing. Although you can do this on Windows, as far as like in Lightroom. And I don't know if you can do this on Android, but I do know that with what I'm doing right now with the Apple Pencil and cleaning up these details, this is something on iOS. So this is one thing that I really do love about the mobile app, is I can use the pencil to fine-tune those areas, because we're going to see the flower change here. Not color or anything, just lighting. So now, yeah, that's good. Now we're going to go to effects. No, that's not it. Light. This is what I want to do. So I want to change the exposure. And I just want to change that one thing on the flower, right? This is how you would do that, just to change that one section. So it's almost like masking it, kind of like what we did when we were doing the color splash or the hue, but this is just changing lighting. And in this case, I don't really need to change it. I just wanted to show you all it is something you can do. But let's just say I want to make it, vibrant, bring the highlights out. And the shadows I want to make darker. There's not too much of the shadows going on in there. Now I could bring the highlights out really bad, but I want to keep the flower looking as close to what a flower looks like. Where you can see the texture of the petals and the finer details. This is why I like my flowers to look a little darker. But you can change those things. And it doesn't, it doesn't do anything dramatic, but it does let you see those details. Well, let's just say I want to change the contrast. I want the flower to look soft as opposed to hard. I can make the petals look softer. And then we see some texture in it. So those are the things that I wanted to show you that you're capable of doing using Lightroom, both on the desktop as well as the app. Hopefully, we'll get some more of these videos going between iOS and between the desktop here.